It's Friday, July 31st, 2026, and it's time now for the luncheon edition of news here at the GBN. Grenada to celebrate emancipation with 2 days of culture and tradition, and the Ministry of Health issues warning to uncertified food handlers. In the region, police constable found dead at the Special Services Unit based in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On the international front, influx of migrants into Spain from Morocco. And in sport, Anderson Peters secures spot in the Commonwealth Games javelin final. We have details to these and other stories when we return. The first segment of the news comes to your compliments, Bryden and Miners.
Got something to share?
Call us at 440-1252.
WhatsApp 405-3052 or 407-8458.
Or email gbnnews@. Thanks for joining us with the details. I am Christlina John. The Ministry of Health has officially activated its annual Carnival Response Plan, aimed at safeguarding public health throughout the festive season. Preparations got underway over the past week with the fogging of major carnival venues as part of efforts to reduce mosquito populations in and around areas expected to attract large crowds. The ministry says the exercise will continue throughout the season to help minimize the risk of mosquito-borne illnesses. The response plan also takes into account the provision of healthcare services during one of the busiest periods of the year. Senior Health Promotion and Communications Officer in the Ministry of Health, Kevin Frederick, outlined the health facilities that will remain accessible along with the days and hours of operation during the carnival period.
We have activated our plans with respect to the community health services, which is our primary health care, and in doing so, the Soters Health Center will be operating at 24 hours. That is going to be as of the 7th, Friday the 7th, right up to the 12th of August, 24 hours. Guav Health Center will also be operating on the same days and time, 24 hours. St. David's will be on the 10th, the 11th, 10th and the 11th, and that is going to be 24-hour on-call services. However, they are going to be going up to from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on those days.
Frederick also provided a more detailed breakdown of the operations across the healthcare system. However, members of the public are being advised that the St. George's Health Center will not be open during the carnival weekend.
Now, so let me just explain here. 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. that's for St. David's Health Center on the 8th, 10th, and 11th. So on the 8th, the 10th, and the 11th of August, the St. David's Health Center will be operating from 8 o'clock in the morning to 2 p.m. Normally on a Saturdays they will go at 12 noon, but we are going up to 2 p.m. because we know it's carnival and anything can happen. However, the on-call service would remain in effect for St. David's Health Center. So now Granborough would only be opening on the 8th and 10th of August from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So Granborough on the 8th and 10th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, the question may be asked why. The Princess Alice Hospital is a stone's throw from Granborough. So if there is an emergency, the Princess Alice Hospital would then be able to respond and if needs be, transfer to St. George's.
The ministry is also encouraging persons living with chronic and non-communicable diseases to prepare ahead of the holidays by ensuring they have an adequate supply of their prescribed medication. Health officials say taking this precaution will help prevent interruptions to treatment, while some health facilities operate on adjusted schedules during the festive period.
And we are also appealing to the public out there that as best as possible, do not report to the ER for minor cuts and bruises and so on. Now, what we do advise is that because the carnival season is likely to be long and doctors' offices would be closed for that period, we do advise that if you need your chronic disease medication and so on, you get it maybe the week before carnival, so you could stock up for about 2 or 3 weeks, so that on carnival days when offices are closed, you will not be depriving yourself of having access to your medication.
The Ministry of Health is urging the public to celebrate responsibly, remain mindful of their health, and seek medical attention promptly if the need arises during the carnival festivities. Meanwhile, as preparations intensify for the peak of the spice mass season, the Ministry of Health is reminding the public that food safety remains a top priority. The ministry says it has been working closely with the Spice Mass Corporation to ensure that all individuals selling food at carnival events are properly trained and certified in safe food handling practices. Improper food handling can lead to foodborne illnesses caused by harmful bacteria, viruses, or contamination. Health officials say certification helps vendors understand proper food storage, preparation, personal hygiene, temperature control, and sanitation practices, reducing the risk of illnesses among patrons. To maintain these standards, the ministry's Environmental Health Division will conduct routine inspections throughout the carnival period. The ministry is encouraging members of the public to look for vendors displaying their official food handler identification badges before purchasing food. Kevel Frederick, Senior Health Promotion and Communication Officer in the Ministry of Health, warns that vendors found operating without the required certification or in breach of food safety regulations could face enforcement action.
Who are engaging in the sale of food, if you are not certified by the Ministry of Health, we are encouraging you at this point in time to desist from the practice. Again, let me repeat, the police and our environmental health officers who will be roaming, even at the shows, they will do their pre-inspection.
Carnival season. Ensure that you're
vending. If you do not, you will be asked to remove yourself. If you choose not to, then it is up to the police. They are responsible for enforcement. And I'm saying it under the Food Handlers Act, right? Whatever you have prepared for sale, even the products that you may have on ice, it can be confiscated and dumped.
Over the past several weeks, the Environmental Health Division has been conducting food handlers training sessions and certification programs for vendors. The training equipped food handlers with the knowledge needed to safely prepare, store, and serve food while complying with the Public Health Act and established food safety guidelines.
That's why we have been doing extensive training. So far, we have trained close to about 1,000 persons. We have issued quite a number of badges. In just yesterday, we had issued over 50 badges. So people are still coming in. That's people who were trained, certified, got their medical done. We have been providing badges for them, and the process is going to continue right up to next Friday, of course, before Carnival. And so persons who are hearing that and they have not gotten theirs done as yet, we encourage them to come. The office is open between 8 and 4, and we still do go overtime to really facilitate people. But if you are not certified, we are appealing to you to desist from offering food for sale.
The Ministry of Health is urging both vendors and consumers to play their part in preventing foodborne illnesses by following proper food safety practices. And finally, on the local front, Grenada is getting ready to mark the 188th anniversary of full emancipation under the theme, Claiming Our Land, Our Culture, Our Identity. Livingston Nelson, CEO of the Grenada Cultural Foundation and a member of the National Celebrations Committee, says the event event is a time to honor the nation's ancestors and celebrate Grenadian culture. This is the second year since Emancipation Day was moved from the first Monday in August to August 1st. The celebration begins tonight with a watch night event meant to recreate the feeling of anticipation before the first Emancipation Day in 1834. There will be performances from community groups across Grenada and a special appearance by the Jabele entertainers from Trinidad. On Saturday, Emancipation Day, events start with a breakfast at the Grenville Car Park from 6 to 11 a.m., followed by an agro-processors exhibition at 3 p.m. The Rainbow City All-Stars will perform before the annual Flambeau match. This year's match will feature a special float making its debut along the route from Soubise to the Grenville bus terminal, where a short official ceremony and more cultural performances will be held. Livingston Nelson is encouraging everyone to wear African clothing and celebrate this important part of Grenadian identity. Here ends the first segment of the news, which came to you compliments, Brighton and Miners. Do stay with us. Your regional outlook comes up next.
It's me, people, thank God. My big up Spice up there, you don't know. Big up GBN. First thing you don't know, Wednesday coming this competition, the 5th. I will be there. People, bring out their crew, bring out their fans, support. You don't know, Tasha, I'm fed up. You send me in a pink house, I'm fed up. You send me in a graveyard, I'm fed up. You send me in a prison, I'm fed up. I'm fed up. Or what I do for Tasha, or what I buy for Tasha.
And now for a look at what's making news across the region. Police constable found dead at a special services unit based in St. Vincent and Grenadines. We have details to these and other stories in today's regional news roundup from the OCM News Network. This segment of the news comes to you compliments Fortune Foods Limited.
This is a warning. We out and bad. Yes, it's your girl Cole Baldeo reminding you guys to stay locked into GBN for the Spice Mass season every and anywhere you are. Remember to follow me on all social media platforms. Stay tuned for new music, good music, because Jab don't fall in love. We only fall in oil. You know how we do it. Yeah.
To arrive at dawn, some swimming, others barely
once in the head. On July 22nd, investigators believe the wound was self-inflicted as they continue their probe amid media reports that Officer Scott may have killed himself amidst an allegation that he had committed a serious sexual offense the previous night. The alleged victim had threatened to report the crime against her and is said to have gone to the police after Constable Scott was found dead. In a statement yesterday, the police said a post-mortem examination conducted 2 days earlier had established Constable Scott died as a result of a single gunshot wound to the head. According to the statement, after reviewing the circumstances surrounding the incident, the post-mortem findings and witnesses, investigators determined that the fatal gunshot wound was self-inflicted. It also said the police remain mindful of the personal and sensitive nature of this matter and respectfully ask that Constable Scott's family be afforded privacy during this difficult period. In Guyana, one of the defense lawyers in the case regarding the deadly MV Barima accident at sea is denying that at least 2 crew members were drunk. Dexter Todd yesterday said the claim made by the Attorney General Anil Nandlal was downright irresponsible.
The charge of murder in relation to the 3 crew members is not only unacceptable, it is very premature. We hold that view. We also, from the legal team, we also hold the view that the statements made by the Attorney General in relation to the crew members, or those particularly 2 of them who were charged, were drunk on that boat. We hold that as an irresponsible statement.
The MV Barima was carrying an estimated 169 passengers and crew when it sank earlier this month. The authorities recovered 72 bodies, rescued 76 people, and said 30 others remain unaccounted for. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the vessel's captain, chief mate, and the Transport and Harbors Department's goods superintendent were charged with murder. Attorney and opposition MP Amanza Walton also took issue with Mr. Nandlal's utterances.
Outside of the fact that the captain and the first mate don't steer the ship, that is done by a helmsman. But I'm sure he's just ignorant of how these things operate, and so he speaks. The other thing that he has done, in my view, is that he's prejudiced these 3 gentlemen's ability to get a fair trial in Guyana because he has poisoned the jury pool. How are these men going to get a fair trial of 12 of their peers when the chief legal officer of the government has been the judge, jury, and executioner in their case? He has prejudiced them. He has prejudiced their case. There is no way these men will be able to get a fair trial now.
Yesterday, a 5-member commission of inquiry set up to investigate the sinking of the Barima was sworn in. President Irfan Ali, who appointed the commissioners, attended the swearing-in ceremony before Chief Justice Judy Lachman. The commission's chairman, Justice Godfrey Philip Smith of Belize, took the oath of office virtually. A secretary to the commission has not yet been appointed.
Have you heard about the... Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years.
Staying with us, and now for a look further afield. About 60,000 migrants have crossed into Spain's North African territory from Morocco in the last 24 hours, Sutra's president said, adding that at least 34 others died during the crossing. The influx comes after Spain's Supreme Court ruled that migrants stopped at sea while trying to reach Sutra or Melilla, another Spanish enclave, cannot be summarily returned to Morocco. Here are the details.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is travelling to the North African enclave of Ceuta Friday as the death toll from a mass border crossing rises to at least 18. Thousands of people overwhelmed frontier guards Thursday, crossing into the territory, prompting Madrid to deploy troops and specialist police. The crisis has also triggered a diplomatic row with Italy after Rome's Deputy Prime Minister called for Spain to be suspended from the Schengen area. Ross Cullen reports.
Residents in the Spanish territory woke up on Friday with thousands of Moroccan immigrants sleeping in the streets after huge numbers of people overwhelmed a small brigade of Spanish frontier patrols and crossed the border between the North African country and the Spanish semi-enclave. Spain has deployed troops and the Interior Minister is due in Ceuta on Friday to try to deal with the situation which has rocked relations between Madrid and Rabat.
U.S. President Donald Trump says an agreement has been reached for the complete disarmament of Hamas in Gaza.
Mediators from Egypt, the US, Qatar and Turkey are meeting in Cairo to try and lock in the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire, after US President Donald Trump announced that Hamas has agreed to a roadmap for disarmament. A senior Hamas official has confirmed the group has accepted the plan, but says its disarmament is conditional on Israel withdrawing from Gaza and allowing reconstruction to begin, while an Israeli official has said the proposed terms are not satisfactory. The deal would require both sides to complete a series of reciprocal, independently verified steps over roughly 7 to 8 months. Simon Marks is a Washington-based reporter following the story from London.
The Board of Peace, which of course President Trump created primarily to try and restore peace and security to Gaza, said last night that Hamas had agreed to a detailed roadmap on the disarmament of its forces and the Israeli withdrawal from Gaza that would follow. What do they mean by a detailed roadmap? Is there a distinction between that and an historic agreement for complete disarmament? Who's going to go in and do the disarming? Who is going to then verify that the disarming has taken place?
Sporting highlights are up next. Anderson Peters has officially booked his spot in the men's javelin throw final at the Commonwealth Games. He achieved this by finishing second overall in the qualification round. The conditions at the stadium were incredibly difficult due to freezing temperatures and unpredictable winds. Because of these harsh elements, no athlete managed to reach the automatic qualifying standards of 84.0 meters. Peters safely advanced by throwing a best distance of 81.29 meters on his second attempt. Sri Lanka's Ramesh Taraga Patridge led the entire qualification field with a top throw of 82.84 meters. South Africa's Dow Smith finished just behind Peters in third place with a mark of 80.64 meters. Other major global contenders, including Neeraj Chopra of India and Ashir Nadeem and of Pakistan, also successfully advanced to the next round despite throwing below the usual averages. The highly anticipated medal round will take place today. Peters will compete against 11 other top athletes for a spot on the podium. And that's your sporting highlights. Do stay with us for a recap of their headlines. In the headlines that made the news today, Grenada to celebrate emancipation with 2 days of culture and tradition. And the Ministry of Health issues warnings to uncertified food handlers. In the region, a police constable found dead at the Special Services Unit base in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On the international front, influx of migrants into Spain from Morocco. And in sport, Anderson Peters secures spot in the Commonwealth Games javelin final. Well, this has brought us to the end of the luncheon edition of news for today, Friday, July 31st, 2026. On behalf of the entire news team, I've been your presenter, Christlina John, thanking you for having joined us.